All right. Looks like we might actually be live. Crazy, I know. I'm planning to do a little bit more on the bandsaw today. So let's get to it. First, let's check in on how things are going on the stuff that I already milled up on the bandsaw, hanging out in the kiln from the other day. Last I checked, these guys were around 50-some% moisture. Whew. Make sure you actually get that bungee cord connected before releasing it. All right. Check. That's registering 26, 27%, 28. This one's at 19%. Down below, 23%. And over here, 23. So we're down a fair amount from the 20-some% it was before. And then on this guy in the back, 16%. We're making some good progress there. Some mighty good progress. And turn that off. All right, let's go get some wood to mill. Oh, let's see who we've got here. Hey, we've got, hey, Ruiz is here, member for 9 months. Amazing. Thank you so much. Let's see, Lawrence is in the house. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. Woodchucker's here. Hey, everybody, let's go on a little field trip and figure out what chunk of pear we should mill up. Oh, it's a little darker out there than what it was a minute ago when I went out. Let me get a flashlight. It's a little easier to see. All right, so what do you think? Which one should I select? I think I'm going to gravitate toward this little stuff down here. So move this guy out of the way. And there we go. Start with him. All right. Here's the bandsaw setup. Got it a little low at the moment because it makes it easier for me to go on field trips. All right, I'm going to close that door so all the bugs don't come in right now. Seeing the light and getting excited. All right. Let's see. Oh, hey. We've got Woodchucker. Time flies when you're having fun. Amen, brother. Top right. Looks like a challenge. Top right. It does look like a challenge. So we'll do that one. We'll do that one next after this. Okay. Since you have been a member for 9+ months, you get to select the next one. So let's get the jig connected here. Let's see. That looks like a pretty flat surface. Let's see if, let's try and run it through like that. So let me get my jig over here. And that does not want to get very close. Let's see if we can get a better connection like this. Yeah, I think so. But still not that great, really. Let's do it up here, mostly on the back half, I think, is where we're going to have to do it. So, kind of right in this area and up higher. Okay. So, and I'm going to actually charge this guy for a minute. See, was looking kind of low the last I saw. All right. So we'll go right about there, I think. All right, let's see if that gives us anything. All right, that looks good. And right around here, I hope. Actually, this one right here might already work. And, oh, already got a screw right there. So, let's try it. That should work. All right, so let's take a look at our, how far over do we want to cut this guy? Let's see, let me loosen that one. Let a little bit more play. Let's start with that. Yeah, I think we'll start right around there. So I'm gonna lock in my makeshift fence here. Oh, hey, you need to catch up on my chat. Wow. Hope everyone's doing great. Me too. I hope everyone's doing great. Had a pretty good day. Woke myself. I woke up. You woke up. You know, sometimes that's enough. Half the battle for sure. Good evening, Brian from the Vineyard Farmhouse. Hey, Rhinestone and Suzanne. Good to see you. Hope you're not cussing too much with your epoxy stuff. Maybe you're taking a break from that. I've been trying to be more positive. Usually I'm done those that, I've been trying to be more positive. Usually I'm done those that has a lot of negativity. Okay. We'll try to be positive for you as well, Lawrence. What am I doing? I am milling some pear wood. So you got it? Sweet. You figured out the epoxy? Hey, Amy Joe, thanks for being here. So I got a bunch of pear wood. We'll come back out here. Actually, let me grab the flashlight again. Whoa, as the power cord was catching on the handlebar there. All right, so you get to see nothing. To see the corn and squash and weed patch. And then there's a little garden box over there and another garden box over there that's not doing quite as well. But over here, we've got some pear wood that I got from someone who's just getting rid of a pear tree. And then I also have some sycamore that is much bigger, and I probably need to cut most of these up on with the chainsaw before I try milling them up on the bandsaw. But I think our next log is this one right here. Is that right, Ruiz? Oh, looks like I need to charge my flashlight. Everything needs charging around here. All right. Oh, I'm going to take this in without worrying about the camera. Oh. So this is next. So I'll just set him down over there for the moment. Hopefully don't trip over him. And I'll come back for the camera. So, Suzanne, since you asked what I'm doing, I made some modifications to the bandsaw so that I can more easily mill this stuff up. So I added some rails on either side of the table, and that allows me to use a fence, but it also allows me to support this expanded table. And so down below, I've got the aforementioned rails on either side of the table, supporting it right here. And then on the outside, I've got these angled supports that come down to the base, to the stand. And so that's providing support there. Now I've got a little jig that I've connected to my first log. And what this jig does, basically I just screw into, through the side here into the log. And so that's all connected now, which means now I have a straight edge, basically, that I can run against my makeshift fence. And for my fence, I'm just using a 4-foot long level because I haven't made a dedicated fence for this expanded table yet. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't, because this seems to be working okay. And so I'm just going to shave off part of my log here, and then I'll shift it, and we'll make some adjustments. And I'm going to try getting this thing charged while it's hanging over here. All right. So I've locked in my fence. I don't think I need to adjust my blade guard. That should be fine. Let's see here. So hopefully that explains what I'm doing. All right. How hard would it be to cut off the biases to get like tiger wood in it? Just curious. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Cut it on the biases to get like tiger liquid. I'm not sure if I could get tiger like wood on this, but I guess I could try. Okay. Oh, AJ's going to sleep already? Can't stay, gotta get sleep, I get cranky. Hey, cranky Amy is the best Amy. Jamie may not feel that way, but I'm too lazy to make something like that. I just want to carve. Hey, we all have our specialties, right? All right, so for me, I need to make sure this is actually plugged in. Yes, and I need to get some hearing and vision protection. So, vision, hearing, and I'll turn on the shop vac, I'll turn on the bandsaw, and we'll start cutting stuff up. Let's see, what's going to be the best angle for you guys? Probably the angle where you don't see me, right? Let's try that for now. Actually, I'll lower it a little bit. And all right. Okay. I was just curious. Don't mess up a good piece log. Oh, I'm cutting this up. That's what I'm doing. I'm milling pear wood. That's the whole point. And you didn't see earlier, but I've been milling other stuff up and putting it in my homemade kiln right here. So that's what I've got milled up so far. And these are the offcuts that I haven't done anything with yet. All right, back to the milling. The milling like a villain. All right. Hey, shops are here. Thanks for being a member for so long. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Okay, let's get this show on the road. Here's our offcut and our on-cut, I guess. And all right, so normally I'd like to have more of the log supported here. Not sure if I want to shift it onto that really. You know, I'm gonna cut off. I'm gonna take another 2 inches off here. This isn't usually what I do, but this is a little bit more of an unusual log, so let's see. Let's see how much we're cutting here. You know what? I was pretty dang close to the 2-inch mark on my guess. All right, and it's about 3 1/4. We'll shift this guy over to 3 1/4. Was it 3 or was it 2 3/4? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was off. It's just over 2 3/4. Right around there. All right. Lock that in. And I am going to need to raise the blade guard there. That should be enough. All right. Hey, gold coin. Thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate that. I saw a lot of that you cut. Yes, you did, Lawrence. Yes, you did. What am I working on tonight? I am working on milling up some pear wood. Trying different angels with this wood. Good. About to go to bed. Oh, well, you better see another cut before you go. Actually, it'd be good if you could see this whole log milled up. It won't take too long, but you'll feel so much better about it if you do. So, what do you guys think of that, huh? All right, so now I'll take this guy and add him to our collection in the kiln. Actually, before we add him, let's see what his moisture content is. So he's registering 54. I saw 55 earlier. So pretty wet. And let's turn around and see what the larger piece says here. 55, 56. Highest I saw there. All right, so now I like that surface, and I'd rather have that surface riding on my table rather than my original surface. So I want to change this up. So I'm going to take my jig off. Not that jig, just this woodworking jig, everybody, don't worry. Okay. And turn that, and turn that, and turn that. All right. And let's see if I can reuse a spot here. Excellent. And see if I can get another spot over here. Don't know if that's going to work. So I'm going to drill a new hole. Hopefully in a spot that will work. Nope, not deep enough. Let's see if all right, I think I'm gonna have to shave something off in order to make this work here. So let me take this other screw out for the moment. And we'll make this a little bit more jig friendly by shaving off some of this protruding mess. I'm just reminded that I've been meaning to remove or switch out the blade on that. All right, let's try again. Try right about there. All right, that seemed to work. And all right here. That's good. All right. Now I need to figure out how much to take off here. Let's take off less than that. So I'll adjust the fence back over here a ways. And I need to clear out some of that debris. And go right around there. And measure where I'm at. Lock that in. And let's see. Angles, love it. That got to go to bed. Hey, that's all right. You work tomorrow. You can sleep at work. That's fine. Got a part-time job. Nice. What are you doing at your part-time job, Shout? Bill. Have a good night. Night, Tess. Good night, Suzanne. Night, Roy. Congratulations on the job. Yep. Thank you. Good night, Rhinestone. Yes. All right. Let's move on. And I can lower my blade guard way down. Go a little lower. That should work. All right, here we go. Right. There we are on that one. And on that one. All right. So this, I now have two sides that are relatively flat and perpendicular to each other. So I no longer have to have the jig. So I'm going to take the jig off. Go. And let me show you how we mill up the rest. So now I'm going to take this over to basically the 2-inch mark, because I'm milling this up at 8/4, give or take. So lock that in. Right. And that's about as low as I can go on the blade guard for that. I'll get my push stick out. And Hey, Kevin Ellis, good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right, let's get a cut in here. Darn it, my estimate was wrong. I did need to adjust the blade guard, but I needed to adjust it up. There we go. All right. So we've got this guy, interesting knot there, and this guy, and this guy. And the offcut here. Put the offcut on the bench, put the other cuts in the kiln, and then I will check in on chat. Get a couple more stickers over here. Go. All right. And the best dust collection, right? Let's see here. I have a headlamp bulb in my kiln. I do not, or a heat lamp. I do not have a heat lamp bulb. The only heat source in my homemade kiln is the dehumidifier. So I've got the dehumidifier right here, and I can keep this pretty, I mean, I can keep it as hot as I want, basically, up to like 120, 130. I try to make it no more than 120. That's kind of the max that I have it set at right now. So it's, 112 just came down because I've had the flap open. But yeah, the only heat source in there is the dehumidifier, and so it does pretty well. And let's see. All right. Okay. Yep. Perfect. All right. So let's move on to our other log here. Um, this one is going to be interesting. So let me clear over my fence. Okay. Whew. All right. So this guy is kind of big. In fact, right here, it's, I think, too tall for my blade. I only have about a 1 foot resaw capacity, which would be the length of this ruler. So as of right now, he's at least a couple inches too tall there. So I can't run this part under the blade. Well, not like this anyway, but I wouldn't want to run it like that anyway, because normally I'd be running it like this. And that might work. I think I want to kind of cut through that hole in the middle anyway, near the pith, because it looks kind of rotted. But yeah, that's not going to make it through. If I try to push it through as is, let's see. Let's see at what point it could actually make it through the blade. If I maximize my bleed height here. All right, so the most I'm going to get through is to around there. Not quite though. But I want to be careful because I'm kind of close to the edge there of, if I'm over here, then this might start tipping over off of my table. So this is a challenge, Ruiz. This is correct. So I think I'm going to remove some of this right in here with the multi-tool. And let me see if I've got, yeah, I've got some fresh multi-tool blades here. So that should make things easier for me. Hopefully. Actually, you know what? I think the blade that I had, oh no, that's not. Thinking maybe the blade that's on there was an original. But looking at it now, I don't think that's the case. All right. It's always nice changing out blades on a live stream so everyone can see how poorly you do. Ooh. Go. Let's see if that's going to be enough. I think that could make it. I think it can. I think it can. All right. And I don't really have much over here that I can even run along the fence. Can't really support anything there. So I'm just going to free cut this, make this a little bit smaller. And whoa, my support fell down. And labeled these outfeed top, outfeed bottom. All right, there we go. Make sure I have that in place before start pushing stuff through. Huh. Right now, this is the back half here is coming up. Let's see if there's a good reason for that. That should be well supported there. If I take this off, oh, I see why. I had my top should be, oh, I had it in the wrong direction. So it will do that. Had the top on the right side and the bottom on the right side, and then just had them facing the wrong way. So I'm just going to freehand this so my fence doesn't matter at the moment. And then hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to deal with. Okay, let's see. All right, here we go. I'm going to take this a lot slower than what I've done on the others because I want to be sure. Here, let me see if, make sure I've got this straight on. You know what? I think dang it. I think the blade, I think it can get through the blade right here, but I think right in here is going to hit the blade guard stuff right there. So yeah, I think right in here is going to hit the corner of that. So let me try this a different way. Let me see if this might be better. Let's try this. I'm going to take my makeshift fence off altogether so it's not in my way. And I think I'm going to just try cutting right down the middle of the rot there and see if that helps, and see if I've got basically two piths, actually maybe three. Interesting part of the tree. Okay. Let's see how this goes. And I've got, it's not entirely flat there, but we're just going to try and make it work. I'm hoping that over here doesn't stick out too far. I'm just going to shave that off. There we go. Hey, Billy, thanks for being here. All right. That should be safer. All right. And I'm going to just draw a little line here to try and guide where I'm thinking to cut. All right. Hopefully I can stay on that line. And here we go. Interesting. It was really easy to cut through here, probably because there's not that much material. Down here it's vacant. Through here it was really easy because of all the rot. All right. And it doesn't want to let me get through up ahead. I'm not sure if it's because it needs more power. I don't think that's the issue, because when when I slowed down or backed off and went at it again, it was giving me that odd sound. Is anyone familiar with that sound? I am not. So let's see. I wonder if we can approach it from the other side. It doesn't want to cut anything at all. When I tried backing it off, kind of got stuck. Don't want to pull the blade off the... Okay. Can't really tell what's going on there. Yeah, I hope it doesn't have metal either. I was thinking that might be the case. Try a wedge in the cut side. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I've got some wedges. Let's see. But yeah, I was thinking there might be metal. It doesn't look like there's any metal in there, but you never can tell for sure. So just pound a bit of a wedge in there. Let's see if that helps things at all. It looks delicious, don't you think? All right, so how do I want to deal with this going forward? So I feel like I definitely want to get rid of those sections. You can see all the burn marks here from where the blade was going so much. Once I got that wedge in there, I got it a little bit of, to where the blade was doing something. I had to go super slow. But it came through. So let's see. I'm going to move. Move this guy out of the way for the moment. And I'm going to get the vacuum, clean up that mess. All right. So now I think I'll just mill that up. That's not going to be terrible. Just mill that up, right? See if I can use this guy. Probably not. I'll go with the other one here. But I need to get this guy out of there. Got a screw that didn't want to get out of my little jig. There we go. All right. So there we go. Screw it there. A screw here. And of course, I knock on the ground. Okay. So let's get that guy in there. Find my of course I dropped the screw. Of course I dropped the screw. No, that's not secured. And neither is that. Why not? Let's go in different spots here. And yeah, I think I want to pre-drill. try right there first. Okay. Get my screw and my impact driver. Why is that not driving in more? There we go. And the other screw. There we go. That seems more secure. All right, so where do I want to cut that? Let's see here. My fence back into the game. And I think I'm just going to cut it right on the edge of the fence here, or right on the edge of the table, because otherwise I don't think there'll be enough room. Okay. Get that down. And it's going to be fun. What do you guys think? This is going to work? Okay, if there's metal, it's already too late. Yeah, I don't think it was metal, but maybe. I mean, I guess I could look and see. Well, now I've got that on the downside here. Let me look at my cut side here. Oh, you know what? There is indeed a nail. Let me see if I can get you some light here. Nail right there. Darn it. It's Ruiz's fault. He wanted me to cut this one. Oh. All right. So, yep, we probably need to switch out the blade. Which might not be a bad thing because this blade might not actually be the best. All right, so let me disassemble everything that we just assembled. And that makes me wonder what other nails might be in this tree. Let's see. I think I'm going to try just leaving that on for the moment. So I'll just move the log over here. Like so. All right, now you all get to see how this works. So I've got a cut through here so that it can go along the blade. But then I've got a frame underneath so that it's supported down here. And I need to be able to move this to take the table off of the blade, right? Otherwise, the blade will get stuck and I can't remove it. So I'm going to remove, or at least mostly remove, this screw. That comes undone. Support drops. And I made this backside curvy, as well as the other one there. I don't know if I needed to make the other one curvy, but I did anyway, just in case. So that moves out of the way. So now I've got an opening there. So then just lift this guy up, fit him along the blade. And set him out of the way. All right, now you get to see the underside. So we've got the regular table here, and then I've attached some angle iron here to expand my, well, not only to expand the fence, but also just as rails to, for the fence. So I've got a fence over here that fits on those rails when they're up higher. So I've got slots on the rails. And there we go. So here's the bolt. I've cut these slots so I can raise this rail up and have it be level with the table. Right now, it's down about 1/2 inch to accommodate the plywood expanded fence. But I can raise these up and have them level with the table. And when they are level with the table, then my fence here can ride along the edge of the rails. And then I've got a fence that I can clamp down and, do stuff with. All right, so let's get this old blade off. In the meantime, I'm going to remove my vision and hearing protection. Yeah, probably a bullet. Yeah, probably. Nail plus binding wood, happy days. Yep. Yard tree, same blade, no reason to damage another. Well, I don't want to damage another blade with that nail. But if I'm going to cut through anything else, probably I need to remove this blade because I was getting very little cutting force with this blade. It's pretty dull already. It's not going to be cut much. So let me unplug the bandsaw. First step, unplug the bandsaw. And take that off. Got some niceties there. All right, I'm going to detension the blade. Oh, why is the camera not tracking me? Has it been doing that the whole time? Oh, there we go. Let's see if it'll stay with me here. Hey, there we go. All right, so I need to, I don't think I'm strong enough to get that to move with my hands alone. So this is a Delta 28275, I think. So I need to detension the blade with that. But before I can do that, I need to loosen this guy right here. And this has a little guide on it to tell me how much tension for each size of blade. So I've been at a 3/4 inch. I've just detensioned it down to where a 1/2 inch blade is supposed to be. And I'm going to detension it basically all the way so that I can remove the blade entirely. Let's see how loose the blade is right now. Okay. Yeah. Keep going a bit here. All right. Yeah. Family prayer time. Okay. I'm going to take a quick family prayer time break. So I will be back shortly and we can complete the repair on this issue. Also good for a sparkling ice pick. All right, so I'll be back shortly. Fear not. All right, I just need to find a way to make a path through the garage here back into the house. I will return shortly, probably, depending on how everything goes. Right, I am on my way back here. Okay, I think I'll take another sparkling ice break. Latera. Not sure what that means, Kevin. All right, I think that's probably loose enough. Let me loosen up my blade guides and everything here, and make sure I can actually get this removed. Right. Okay. And go. All right, and then I've got a little screw down here that I need to remove. Let's see what size that is. Wanted to just use my Nipic, Knepic, whatever pliers on it, but those leave marks, so decided against it. Leave the wrench out so that I can put it back. All right. And okay. Oh, I need to move my dust collection out of the way here. Let's see here. Let me just move that. There we go. That just tilts down. There we go. All right. And now, ta-da! I would fold this up into thirds, but I'm just going to throw it away. So I'm not going to worry about it. Although, can these be sharpened? Maybe I'll look into that before I throw it away. So let me put it over here, because maybe that can be sharpened and saved, so I don't have to toss it. In the meantime, come over here to, let's see, think it was in here. I think that is not the right blade. I think that's the 1/2-inch blade for the Craftsman. And yeah, I think this is the blade I'm going to have to use for this. Although, is this the same size as that? Because this one looks bigger. No, this is definitely a larger diameter. So let me put on some gloves before I start unwielding that, because I have found, sorry, tracking camera, probably having a tough time with me lately. And I've got scraped up in there. I got scraped up with my knuckles earlier because I underestimated the spring and stuff in these blades. So here we go. All right, so this looks like it's the right size. So I want to make sure that I'm going the right direction. So blades point down. And basically the opposite of what I did to remove the other one. And okay. And just to try and make it easier on me, I'm going to take the gloves off now that the blade is mostly not swinging around wildly. And I am going to tape it into my blade guard over here. So that hopefully makes it a little easier to get everything else placed on here. There we go. All right, so that is somewhat in place. I'm going to put a little bit of tension on it. And looks like something might be like in the wrong place there. All right. Okay, so we got a little bit of tension. All right, and I want this to track a little bit further back, right? So right now it's a little too far forward. I want that blade to be more in the middle. And so now I need to remember how to adjust the tracking. On my Craftsman, I know it's just adjusting the bolt in the middle. I don't remember. Oh, you know what? That might be, I think the tracking is actually for this thing back here. I was thinking that was to lock down my deal here. I think the tracking was actually for this. So let me just turn that there and see if that adjusts anything. Okay, good thing I was looking at that because my backup battery was not backing up. So, yep, that was the tracking. So that is just about where I want it, but I want it actually a little bit at the back. So I'm going to go a quarter turn. Did I go the right direction? Go another quarter turn. That is right about correct. Okay. So now I'm going to tension it up to, what size is this blade? I was thinking it was 1/2 inch, but maybe it's 3/8 or something. Let's see. It is 3/8. So let's adjust the tension up to the 3/8 mark. All right. 3/8. And let's make sure our tracking still tracks. I think it does. All right, we got some noise going on, but we will correct that with our other adjustments here. All right, so I've got my next adjustment is going to be for this wheel right here. I want my blade to be as close to that wheel as possible without actually touching it until I put pressure on it. So if it's not cutting anything, it shouldn't be touching. If it is cutting, it should be touching. And then very similar for the blade supports here on either side. I want them as close to the blade as possible without touching. I want the front of each of these guides to be just behind the teeth of the blade. I don't want these rubbing on the actual teeth. I want them just on the solid metal. So that is what I'm going to be working on next here. Let's see. Mike, it's 1:10 a.m. where you are and calling it good for the night. Well, we will see you next time. Have a great day. Good night. You can sharpen them, use a drum. Oh, okay. Good to know. Mark one tooth with a Sharpie. That way you know where you started. Cool. Easier to sharpen while it's on the saw. Oh, of course. Now that I've taken it off the saw. Okay. All right. So let me Let's see if I need to, I think I might need to loosen something here before I can adjust that. It looks like I need to loosen up here. So I'm going to move that guy out of the way a little bit. I've got better access to these. So these will adjust that wheel forward and backward. And then, so one of them adjusts the wheel and one of them should adjust how far forward and backward these blade guides are. So then I'm just going to use these to adjust backward and forward. Actually, no. I need to loosen those because those are what I need. These guys are not for that. These guys are for supporting that. Little different than on my Craftsman. I haven't worked with this one nearly as much. All right. And okay. All right, see how that's moving now? I need to back it off a fair touch. All right, and then I'm going to lock it in. That's where it needs to be. All right, and then on these ones, these are too far forward right now, so they are covering up at least part of the teeth. So I want to move them back. And I'm going to get a little bit more light to be able to see. All right, that's just about where they need to be. Okay. And I actually want to adjust the one down below as well. And need to remind myself how. And I need to get rid of that tape. Okay. So there it is. Okay, that should be good. All right. Now, I like to just kind of put those like that and then run it a little bit and then tighten it down. And do the same here. Okay. And of course I drop it. There it is. These ones are a little bit harder to access than on the Craftsman. That doesn't really seem to be going in too much there. There we go. Oh, you know what? I forgot to adjust this one back. It's too far forward. There we go. All right. All right. Come on. Get in there. There we go. Not too tight. That should work. All right. So give you a little bit better angle. Don't have great leverage on this one, but there we go. I think I got it finally. Seems like it should be working. So clear all this mess up. Put our stuff back where it belongs. Right. And put the tools back where they belong so we can find them again later. Close up the wheels here. Oh, that's the dust collection is in the way there. It's like, why is that not closing? That is a problem. All right. So that should work. And this blade might actually be better than the bigger blade, even though that's counterintuitive. All right. So let's put our big bad table extension back on. All right. And got our impact driver over here. I mentioned the other day in a live that I had lost my impact driver, and you may be able to see that this is in fact an impact driver. Sadly, it is not the impact driver that I lost. It is one I picked up on Marketplace earlier today. All right, and get my angled supports on there. Oh, feed top. There we go. And feed bottom, infeed bottom and top. And make sure those are relatively straight on. And we should be ready to start milling lumber again. So let's get back to where we were before. I was going to put my makeshift fence right on the far edge of the table here. All right. And got this log pretty much ready to start cutting, but before we make any cuts, I want to see, where is that nail? Right there. So I want to mark that. So I will know not to cut around there. Hopefully that is the only nail. All right, need to adjust my blade guard up a fair amount. See if that's going to be enough. I don't think so. So make some adjustments. That should work. All right. Let's see. Hey, Dale, how you doing? Good to see you. Good night, Lawrence. Let's see. So everyone stay safe. Yep. God bless you all. Amen, brother. Amen. All right. So hopefully there aren't any other nails. I've got the one marked so that we don't damage any more blades with that nail. And let's see what we can find here. So, oh, I need to reattach my dust collection. Although it doesn't really do much good, it seems. I need to work on that a lot because the dust shroud over here is not much of a shroud. So it doesn't not very much is getting suctioned, but hopefully it's better than nothing. Really good. Excellent. Good to hear it, Dale. Whenever you're adjusting the blade, good to unplug the bandsaw first. But then you have to remember to plug it back in if you want it to run. I think this might actually be slower than the dull blade. Whoa. Got it caught there. Let's see if might need to wedge this open too, but I think probably I need to just not use this blade. Did I break the blade or did it come off the track? I think I broke it. Well, maybe not. I wonder if this blade just isn't have enough teeth, or has too many teeth per inch. Well, it's only 4 teeth per inch. I mean, I'd rather have it be 2 or 3, but that's not crazy. There may be another nail in there, but it was slow cutting from the get-go. So it just yeah, it looks like the blade's still intact. Did it just get completely detensioned here? Yeah, it did. So it was registering earlier as being tensioned to 3/8, and now it's showing as less than 1/8. So that's weird. And I think I'm not going to try to fix it tonight. So I'll figure that out maybe offline. It's approaching midnight here. Vacuum ports on Bandsaw suck, as they never really suck. Yeah. The suction on my the dust collection on my Craftsman actually does pretty well. It's it's an old Craftsman 12-inch bandsaw right here, and it's pretty enclosed, and so down here, it's a little bit open right there, so you can access the blade guides and everything. But otherwise, it's relatively closed in, and then it has the dust port over here. And so it does pretty well, way better than what I'm getting from this guy. So I mean, you can tell sawdust is just piled up everywhere. And as it's running, you can see it's over here, it's over here. as it's running, I can see sawdust coming out here because the sawdust has traveled with the blade all the way up and all the way under and then back over. And so it's coming out here just because there's so much sawdust that's not getting collected going through the vacuum. You know, I wonder how much of that is because maybe my vacuum is full. Well, it's not full, but it could stand to be emptied. So I will empty that eventually as well. Let's see. Let's do this. Yeah. You can get a couple different angles. Okay. Vacuum ports. Yeah, they suck. Do I have a metal detector? No. No, I do not. It did pop off the wheel. But I'm wondering why the tension is showing as like that shouldn't have affected where the tension meter is. I should have to lower it to get it back down to the appropriate tension level. So, or maybe, well, maybe not. I guess I just assumed that, but maybe that's not true. Because as I lower this, it's lowering this whole tension assembly. So yeah, that's as low as the assembly goes. So maybe that's all that happened. But it's just weird. Just weird. I'd rather have it just pop off rather than um, break. But all right. So now that I've got the blade mostly on the wheels there, let me add a little bit of tension. Pick it up to tension there. Check my tracking. Tracking a little further back now. Well, I'm gonna tension all the way up to 3/8 actually. That should give me a better indication of whether it's tracking properly. There we go. That's the 3/8 mark. And feels like it's, or sounds like it's rubbing against something. Ah, that's interesting. Let me move this guy out of the way again. I know I said I was going to wait to fix this until another day, another time, but let's see if I can get it fixed now. Okay, that seems to be fine. All right, feels like it might be rubbing there on interior one. Well, that's definitely not the issue. It does not want to go in there. Okay. No, that's not where it's rubbing. Ah, that might be. Okay. Sounds like it's still rubbing somewhere. You know what? Well, I definitely hear it rubbing on something. I just don't see what it might be rubbing on. Ugh. All right. Well, I think I've got it positioned how it's supposed to be. Not sure what that rubbing sound is, but the wheel is, if it's off the wheel, then it shouldn't show any tension. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, but yeah, because the blade is forcing it down further than it would otherwise. So that makes sense. All right, so a little bit past midnight here, and I think I'm going to call it a night. I did not get as much done as I was hoping, but I'm going to blame it on Ruiz for wanting me to tackle this more difficult log that ended up having a nail in it. So that's on you, Ruiz. Um, anyway, thanks everyone for being here. Running a bit tech. Okay. Yeah, I think the problem is not that it's that the tension is that it's slipping off um, on its own. I think the problem is that I was trying to pull that log out from the cut, and the blade got caught in there as I was pulling it, and that pulled it off the wheel. I think that's what happened, and then it registered with as no tension because the blade was no longer on the wheels. Hey Dale, good. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, it looks like it's holding tension. Yeah, I think so. I think it's fine. Um, the I'm wondering why it was having such a struggle cutting through. Like I said, it's a 4 TPI blade, so I wouldn't expect that would be that difficult for it. The one I was using before is a 3 TPI, so a little bit better for resawing, but not that crazy different. Um, and it was slow right from the beginning of the cut, so I don't think I can blame. Um, I wouldn't think that I could blame another nail for dulling it and then making it cut slowly because it was cutting slowly right from the get-go. I wouldn't expect there to be, I mean, wouldn't expect there to be any nails in a pear tree at all. But let's just see, just give it a go here. Cutting through there again. All right. So is that high enough? No, probably not. That should be high enough. All right. Get some eye and ear protection going, and we'll try this again. Blade may need a sharpen. Yeah, it could be. Um, I used this blade a little bit. This is the blade that came on the saw when I first got it used, and used it for a couple things. Seemed to cut fine. Wasn't trying to cut anything this substantial. So I switched over to the 3 TPI 3/4 inch blade, um, and found that one had a fair amount of wobble in it because of just some imperfections in the blade. I thought maybe if I ran it enough that it would kind of work those wobbles out. Never really seemed to work, but whatever. Um, so yeah, this blade it could just be it's dull and not intended to cut through, what, 8-10 inches of pear wood. So we'll see. Yeah, no, it's not working. So it must be pretty dull, or there's another nail in there, or who knows what. But let me see if I can. Nope. Yeah, whatever. I'll deal with it later. So, good night, everybody. See you next time.